Hello, I'm Chris Testa, and this is my wife, Rita Testa.
I'm Hannah's mom.
Um, one of Hannah's teachers wanted us to talk about how Hannah was as a child. And if I can start, one of the memories I had of Hannah as a child, when she was quite young, she was always artistic. She had a little table off to the side in the living room, and she was always either playing Play Doh or drawing or writing something or using paint or crayons, coloring.
She loves to
And
do
very,
puzzles too.
yeah, that's true. Puzzles too. She at a very young age, she was just always so creative and very artistic. Um, and then one of the neat things, and a lot of people commented on this, was that when she would draw, it'd always be of something happy, like princesses and rainbows and animals and people that are always happy people. And it was never anything sad or gloomy. She was always a very happy person. So that's one of the memories I'll always have of her as a child. Very creative.
Um,
Another neat, I guess, thing that we tell our friends is that when Hannah was about 2.5, we bought a book called I think it was the Seven Wonders of the World, or 100 Wonders of the World, and we used to flip through it with Hannah, and we used to teach her different places like the Taj Mahal or Eiffel Tower, Tower of London, places like that.
I think one of the things that really captured us about Hannah, about the book, and it just happened, I was at Barnes and Noble and I saw the 100 Wonders of the World book, and I started to flick through it, and I thought it was, very inexpensive for $10 to have all these wonderful pictures, and I thought it would be a good insight for Hannah to open her mind and to see that the world is not just about where we live, America, but it's much bigger. And and that day, she
was very inquisitive and learned a lot about different places around the world, and really just loved that book. And one day, her and I were in the car together, and she said, "Dad," she was 2.5. She said, "Dad, can you take me to the Eiffel Tower in Paris and the Taj Mahal in India?"
So, and what was your response?
I told her to ask her grandmother. So at a very young age, she was just always, quite worldly and inquisitive, and
asked a lot of questions.
Yeah, would ask a lot of questions.
You can always tell that her brain was working overtime for such a young age. She was very imaginative in terms of she's always acting plays and wearing princess outfits and living in fantasy world. Just always an outside of the box thinker, and I thought that I saw that in her from a very young age. I think one of the things that really appealed to us was, what should we tell about first? Was about that when she was 3 years old, I picked her up from preschool and went to Target just to buy a couple of things from the store, like bread, milk. And that year was the first year that Target actually had recycling bags that they had with their logo on it. And coming from Europe, we had recycling bags everywhere. And that was one of the main shocks for me moving to America, that I never saw reusable recycling bags available to use in stores. Everything was plastic. But anyway, so I decided to buy one of the recycling bags at Target for 99 cents. And I have always had it in my car. So as we got in the car to go to Target, Hannah wanted to carry that bag, I suppose, pretending to be a mini mommy. And we did our shopping. We didn't talk about anything about the environment or anything. We just went along our daily routine, and we got in the car. I buckled her in her car seat, and I just happened to look through the mirror, and I could see that her brain was working overtime. I could see it tick, tick, ticking, and she was looking out the window. Then she just said, "Mommy, we're the only people that care about our planet." So I stopped the car and I turned around. I looked at Hannah and I said, "Why would you say that?" And she said, "Because nobody at Target had their recycling bags, meaning that they don't care about our planet." So from that moment, I knew there was something different about her. But she got it at the age of 3 that having these bags makes an impact on our planet. And she was only 3 years old. So I knew there was something special about her from that young age. And the fact that she loved animals, she always wanted to take care of the environment. She always wanted to start her own garden. So when she started kindergarten, she wanted to set up her own organic garden, which we did. And it was simple things of herbs and tomato plants and things like that. So going from when she was in kindergarten, we used to do like show and tell at school, your favorite toy, your favorite book. So we try to tab in that with her to see if she'd be interested to talk to the kids more about different things, like trips that we went to, like the Biltmore house that we went for the weekend, and she would come back and do a 5 minutes presentation in kindergarten about the Biltmore house, and that 7 White Houses can fit in the Biltmore. That's just one of the things that I remembered. But she always was sitting there with her cue cards, and she would not miss a heartbeat. I mean, she had this present, but also had this confidence that astounded us at just being at 5, because I certainly didn't have it at 5. Did you?
Not at all.
No.
I tell her about the Martin Luther King.
Yeah. Before we went on that, she wanted to talk about organic gardens, and she wanted everyone to be more green conscious about their environment. And one of the things she wanted me to do was to bring in plants, tomato plants, for every kid in the class. And at that time, there was like 25. And I, in terms of cost, it was slightly costly to do that, to bring every child a plant. So I told Hannah, would she, if I got the kit, would she be willing to give each child a plant if we did them from seeds? And she agreed. And that was sort of like testing to see, how kids, they say they want to do something and then they just forget about it after a few days. Well, for 8 weeks, every day she would water those seeds, and she would get to see them grow into individual tomato plants about this big. And her goal was to give every single child in that class. So that showed me that she was committed, even at the age of 5. And she didn't mind doing hard work. And she just really wanted to spread the word about making your own garden and eating more healthy. So that was one of the things. The other one that we talked about was Martin Luther King. She did a presentation about Martin Luther King. And me coming from England, I didn't really know about the history about Martin Luther King in detail. So we sort of did our research together with Hannah of learning about him. And the night before her presentation, she was reciting, practicing her speech on her cue cards. And right at the end, it says where he's buried. It's on his tombstone. He's free at last. And Hannah started to cry and cry and cry. Cry so hard that she was catching her breath between each time that a tear would come down. My husband at the time thought I was pushing her too hard and felt that, maybe we were just pushing her to her limits. And at that point, I felt really sad. So I grabbed Hannah in my arms and I told her that I was really sorry and that I wasn't pushing her. I was just showing her, that this is her potential. And she looked at me. She raised her head and looked at me. She goes, "No, Mommy, you didn't push me. He's free at last, and I feel it in my heart." So that was just, I would say, aha moment for me, to see that she was very engaged in her feelings and emotion at the age of 5. And even though she was learning the history about Martin Luther King, that she really sort of understood it and what he stood for. So that made me realize there's something different about Hannah, that she was wise beyond her age, I would think.
Let me kind of talk about something a little different about how she's a natural born leader, and a couple of examples of how it's come out or it's been evident. She used to do ballet. She was around 4, 5, 6 years old, and she would do ballet with on about 10 different girls. And at the end of the season, they would do a recital in front of a lot of people on a stage. And the first one that she did, she was the natural leader. She was up there and leading the rest of the group and all the moves, and you could see they were all watching her because they were all not very confident in what they were doing. And Hannah was even kind of directing a couple of people about where to stand and where to move, and it was just a sight to see. My parents were there as well, and they noticed it as well. And of course, we were so proud of her. But that was a kind of a defining moment for me in terms of seeing how confident she was and how everybody looked up to her. In another occasion, when she first took the soccer field, I think she was playing against boys. It was a game, and my dad and I went. It was her first game, and as soon as she touched the ball, she dribbled down the entire field with all these boys following her. And my dad and I, our eyes were wide open. It's not that she's she's athletic, but it's not that she's extraordinarily gifted. It's just that she has the confidence and the know-how. She listens to the coach. She knows how to play the game, and she's always on the soccer field been a real leader and a great teammate, and teammates look up to her and they listen to her. And I remember at the end of that season, when we said we were moving to another state, the coach said, "You need to keep Hannah in soccer. She's really gifted." And again, I don't think it's because so much her athletic abilities, but it's all these other characteristics, like determination and teamwork and smarts and listening.
But she never puts herself first in the terms of she always cares for others and she always looks out for other people. And one of the comments when we moved into our neighborhood, that we've been here for 2 years now, and when we first moved in, there was a lot of people I didn't know, but a lot of people knew Hannah. And the fact that she would go up to strangers and say hello and how's your day, and people would stand back to think, wow, this girl wants to know how I'm doing. And there's always been people that's been saying wonderful things about her, and we've got beautiful cards, especially with the campaign that she was doing to save the rhinos and save the horses. She has a passion to make a difference. She's done many speeches, especially in the last year or so, and she always says that she wants to make the world a better place, even better than when she came into it. That's her goal, is to make people kinder, sweeter, to save as many animals as she can, to bring awareness about how we need to take care of each other, but also our environment and other creatures. And a lot of time questions she asks, why do people do the things to our planet and to other animals? And we don't have an answer for that. But she's trying to make a difference in her own little way. And that's what we love about her, is the fact that she doesn't just see something and just sit back like majority of us do. She wants to take action. And as parents, we try and give her the tools and help her to help her with her goal and her mission. Now she's been helping with the Rhino campaign. That was another thing that started off this May. I showed her a video from this organization I found online called onemoregeneration.org, and they were founded by 2 kids in Atlanta, which are Hannah's age. And one of their campaigns this year was to write as many letters and petitions to be sent to President Zuma in South Africa. And when Hannah saw what was happening to the rhinos and the fact that the black rhinos can disappear by year 2022, Hannah didn't want to sit back. And once she saw the video, she turned around and looked at me. She goes, "Mom, I want to be the voice for the ones that don't have a voice." And as a mom, what do you say? You can't say no. So I told her, what does she want to do? And she said she wanted to promise Olivia and Carter 500 petitions. In my mind at the time, I was thinking, oh my God, I don't even know 30 people. How are we going to get 500? But I told her to think about what she wanted to do, and she came back about an hour or so, and she says, you know, we can do a lemonade. You know how they do a lemonade stand to raise money? How about we do a similar thing, but to bring awareness and to ask people to come and sign petitions, and I will tell them what's going on. So basically, in 3 days, we put an event together at our house, and Hannah pulled together her friends, because she runs a book club for the last year and a half that she has with her friends. She has about 7 or 8 kids, girls that comes over, and she pulled some of them together, and they made posters and helped to put it around the neighborhood and Vickery and our community, and some of her teachers got involved and twittered and put it on Facebook. So by the end of that weekend, we had 201 petitions, and exactly a week later, she met a goal, which was 536. And today she's around 1,800. She has traveled around the country, well, in other states to present to other people, and she went to Virginia, Reston, and she spoke with a big group, about 80 children. She talked for about an hour and did not miss a heartbeat. I mean, she knew the ins and outs about these rhinos, and now she's
very gifted speaker.
Yeah.
Very confident. And then in that afternoon, she spoke to about 70 adults as well.
In an office, and it was on a conference call, so it was basically featured live across the world. So that was, that sort of thing. She even got involved with Chick-fil-A this summer. She met one of the top executives with OMG. Her part was to convince them to get away from plastic straws and to use alternative. And she had this company called Aardvark produced prototype straws with the iconic cow print on there. And she went in with confidence and did her thing and came out, and she said, let's go and have fun now. And that's what I love about kids. They just live in the moment, get what they need to be done, and once they leave that room, they just didn't really think about it at the time. But she wanted to bring awareness for that, and hopefully Chick-fil-A, they're thinking about launching it out in probably some testing stores in Atlanta. So if that happens, Hannah's definitely leaving a footprint on this planet. And other organizations have contacted her to be involved, right?
Yep, that's right. So we could go on and on.
Yeah.
But as you can tell, we're very proud of Hannah and what she's done and how she's growing up. But I think we'll stop here. Hope this was helpful for you. And feel free to contact us if you need more info.
Right. Take care. Thanks. Bye.